doing it out of my phone, so we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure how I can see the chat. Although hopefully as I'm going, I'm gonna figure it out. But y'all, I have this transit that I want to talk about. And I've been making a lot more astrology videos, especially on TikTok, reposting here. And I think this is one of those transits that I wasn't going to make content on, but I was having a conversation with my mom and I realized people need to know because it's a very intense energy that's kind of coming up. So tomorrow there are two major transits. The first one is Mercury is going to go retrograde. So Mercury right now is in the sign of Pisces, so is retrograding through Pisces, and we are in Pisces season. So the sun is there, Venus is currently there where it's exalted. The North Node is also in Pisces, and now Mercury is going to go back through and make us kind of reassess, slow down, see what's there, improve. So it's going to be, going on for the next month or so. Also, there is a full moon in Virgo that's happening, I believe, March 3rd, which is going to be opposing all of this activity. But the second big transit that's happening tomorrow, the one that I actually want to go and talk about today, is Mars and Uranus are going to make a square. Now, these two planets, I want to go in depth and then I want to break it down to tell you why this is a big deal. So Mars is a planet that rules Aries and Scorpio. It's a planet that has to do with passion. It rules anger. It has to do with drive, taking action. So it's a planet that is known for like reactivity. It's a planet that anytime we see Mars in a transit, we're thinking anger, frustration, reaction, passion, just bold, loud energy is the best way to put it. On the other side, we have Uranus. Uranus is the weird one. It rules Aquarius. It's a little quirky. It's a little different. And Uranus is known for being unexpected. So when Uranus is transiting any part of your chart, it brings up a lot of unexpected things, right? So when we have Uranus and Mars making an aspect, meaning they are triggering each other, you have a loud planet connected to a planet of unexpected things that could happen at any point. So what that looks like is reactivity, something happening that like triggers something that brings up passion or anger. So this is not a transit that is simple. This is a transit that is loud. This is a transit that is not taking no for an answer. So we are going to feel it. Now, here's the thing. If you are a fixed sign, that is Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio, you are going to feel this the most. I'm speaking as a Leo rising, 27 degrees, where all of this is happening, by the way. We are definitely going to be feeling this transit. So the energy that it's bringing is it's going to be disruptive. Is going to be loud, is going to be in your face, and wherever house you have in your chart that is going to hit, babe, you are going to feel this transit. I was just on the phone with my mom, who is an Aquarius rising, Aries moon, and a Taurus sun, and literally she's like, why am I so angry? I'm so aggravated. I got triggered. I was like, Mom, let's look at the astrology. And we noticed the transit is already kind of set in place. It's at 26 degrees right now. So Uranus is sitting in Taurus, and then we have Mars sitting in Aquarius. So let me tell you about these signs and the specific signs, right? Taurus is known for moving slow, taking their time. They are an earth sign and they are fixed, meaning they do it their way. They're really stubborn. They don't like to be told what to do. They don't like to be controlled. Then we have Aquarius, which is the rebel. Aquarius is the one that hates to follow the rules. They want to do it their way. And we have Mars in Aquarius. So the planet of action and drive in a sign that likes to be different, that doesn't like to be told what to do, is like, do not stop me. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to react. I'm going to do my thing. And then on the other side, we have Uranus, the planet of the unexpected that rules Aquarius, sitting in a sign that feels like, I just want to stick to what I know. I just want to stick to the norm, right? So essentially what's happening is they're triggering each other. And it's bringing up this energy of like, something random. Like for my mom, it was something that happened with family, and she heard about a situation that was going on, and she was so angry. She wanted to like grab the phone out of my dad's hand and like yell at somebody. Eventually we looked at the transits and I was like, girl, for the next 2 days, not reacting, do not get in social media. Like your Aries moon, you're going to want to pop off. But the reality is that is how it's going to feel. Now, for me as a Leo rising, this transit is going to be happening in Aquarius, which opposes my first house. So it's going to be hitting my relationships and my career. So the fixed signs are an axis. If you're looking at the wheel, they're always opposing each other. Like Leo opposes Aquarius, Scorpio opposes Taurus. So all these four houses in your chart is where you're going to feel it, mainly the one where you have Taurus and where you have Aquarius. Now, what you can expect for tomorrow is unpredictability. It is random situations that feel out of your control. It could be something happening at work. It could be in your relationship. It could be with family. But essentially, you're going to feel triggered. Now, this trigger could be positive, meaning you get the drive and the desire to get something done that you've been putting off, right? It could also be negative in the sense that you might just blow up, yell at somebody, cuss somebody out, and be like, why was my reaction so extreme? Tomorrow is a day where there's a lot of unexpected explosiveness. That's the best way that I can put it. Keep in mind, Mercury is also going retrograde tomorrow. So basically what this looks like is a lot of miscommunications, a lot of reacting and saying things that we don't mean, or someone else reacting and us taking it the wrong way when they didn't mean it that way, or something really crazy, like somebody like your boss quitting their job and the whole company's like, what is going on? Or like your boyfriend or partner being like, I'm done with this relationship, or something shocking coming to light, like maybe something from childhood, something that, you know, within your family, within your friend groups. Tomorrow is a day where I would recommend, if you can lay low, definitely do that. I don't believe in astrology being a thing that we fear. I don't believe in astrology being something that we're like, oh my God, the transits are bad. It doesn't have to be. If you know the energy tomorrow is explosive, this is not a day you want to be in like a party or driving on the highway or going out to drink till 3 in the morning. Now, if you have something planned, just be aware. People are going to have their tempers flaring. People are going to be more reactive than they usually are. Random unexpected things might happen tomorrow. And if you're prepared, you can chalk it to, oh, this is that transit. Now, I will say you're probably feeling it as of today, especially if you're a fixed sign, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio. I'm already feeling it. I literally woke up with a migraine today, decided to stay home. I worked from here, I laid low, but it's like there's this anger underneath that's brewing, and I don't have a reason to be angry. It's almost like it's felt, not seen. For my mom, an Aquarius rising, it was reactivity about some other situation that was out of her control and being like, why am I so angry? So obviously talking with her, I was like, you know, maybe this is deeper. Because as an astrologer, I'm fully aware, right, of like, this is what it's going to feel like. This is what it's going to look like. But a lot of people do not know. So I actually took some notes here because I want to go through like all of the rising signs and what that's going to feel like for everybody. So if you're an Aries rising, this is going to be hitting your 11th house and your 2nd house. So on the 11th house is where Mars is going to be, right? And its 2nd house is where Uranus is going to be. So Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. So it could be something shocking around your money. It could be something shocking around your friendships. It could be something shocking around your values, your self-worth, right? How they interact with each other is you might get a financial surprise. Maybe you get a raise, maybe you get a bonus, or maybe you're like, crap, now I have to pay the IRS extra money, right? However that looks is shocking and it triggers an action, right? On the opposite side, it could be you might outgrow a friendship group. You might cut somebody off and be like, you know what, this is not in alignment with me. So it's hitting your money and your network, your friendships and your values. So when you put those two together in this area of your life tomorrow, you may feel a little bit more reactive than usual when it comes to money and when it comes to friends. So remember to just take a deep breath. And if you notice any of these things coming up, like, it's okay to feel irritated. Like if somebody's just using you for your resources, it's okay to feel irritated. If something with money, you're like, man, I'm bleeding money, or wow, I didn't have the thing. It could also be good because Uranus is not good or bad. It just depends on the situation and how that lands for you. It could also be you win the lottery. It could also be that you get a raise, that you make a little bit of extra money, and that maybe affects the friend's perception of you. However this plays out, friendships and money for you, my love. Now, if you're a Taurus rising, this will basically be happening in your 1st house because duh, Taurus, right? And then you're going to have Mars in the 10th house. So this would be career and identity. So if we have Uranus in the 1st house, there's something unexpected about you, about your identity, how you view life, the way you carry yourself. Like you might wake up and be like, I want to cut my hair off. want to go do something different. I want to completely like maybe change something about your outer appearance, or just feel an impulse to quit. Again, it's also connected to your career. Don't quit your job today or tomorrow. If you are a Taurus rising, babe, just because you have a sudden urge to pivot, to quit, to reset, maybe this is not the right time to do that, right? You may have conflicts with authority. You may find that you maybe feel misunderstood, because the 10th house also has to do with like how people perceive you. It's like your outer facing persona. So any misunderstandings in like how you're perceived, how you come across in your career, in your job, or even in your identity, like you wake up and you just have this urge to do something crazy. Uranus and Mars is giving crazy impulsive. Let's not do impulsive, and let's not do crazy, right? On the positive spectrum, maybe you wake up and you decide to do something you've always wanted to do, like let me start this business, right? Or let me launch this thing that I've been afraid to. So career and identity if you're a Taurus rising. For my Gemini risings, Mars is going to be in the 9th house, and then Uranus is going to be in the 12th. So the 9th house has to do with travel, philosophy, higher learning, your belief system. The 12th house is more your subconscious, your inner world, has to do a little bit with like death, spirituality. So it goes a little bit deeper than like regular day-to-day life. So for you, this is going to be more of an internal anger, or an internal conflict, or an internal shock, right? So 9th house is giving like a sudden revelation or a sudden breakthrough. If you're spiritual at all, maybe a massive download where like something finally makes sense, or the rose colored glasses come off and you just see things for what they are. So that could happen. On the 12th house, it could also be like a spiritual awakening, which they sound fun. If you're spiritual, you know they're not that fun. By the way, guys, I don't know if you're leaving comments. I'm doing this on my phone. So if they are, I will reply after. I might go live again or make some videos to respond. I'm not able to see if anybody's watching, but I'm going to keep on rolling because I just want to get this message out, right? Another thing that lives in the 9th house, travel. So if you find that there is disruptions or unexpected things that happen with travel tomorrow, like a bunch of flights get canceled. And again, this is collective. It might not just be you, right? But planes getting delayed, flights not taking out when they need to, weather stuff, or anger that's like buried and coming up. Like maybe you just wake up mad, right? Maybe it's not a great day to pop off. It's just realizing there's this seething underneath feeling, because Uranus creates like this uneasiness, like this unrest, this active like rebellion type of energy. And then Mars is like, I want to do something about it. I'm really angry. You're going to feel that. But again, it's going to be internal. You don't have to let it out. On the positive side, you might overcome limiting beliefs. You might have an aha eureka moment where you're like, man, I understand something now about myself, about my life, about where I'm headed. So for you, 9th and 12th house, that's where I would keep an eye. So Gemini, you are probably going to have a massive breakthrough between today and like Friday, right? Mind you, you're also ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is going retrograde tomorrow. So even though you're going to have the urge to go big and do the thing, maybe sleep on it, because Mercury is going to have you slow down and reassess before you take those steps. So even if you have that big aha moment, like write it down, journal on it, sleep on it, and then move. Don't let Mars push you to do something before you're ready. For Cancer rising, Mars is going to be in the 8th house and Uranus is going to be in the 11th. So 8th house is tricky because it's sex, death, money, the taboo. It has to do with like debt, taxes, money in relation to other people. This is where like inheritances would come in, the lottery winnings would come in. 8th house is that part, right? And then we have the 11th house, and that is the house of your networks, is the house of your hopes and dreams, social media, any of that. So when you have Uranus in the 11th, this could look like going viral, right? Because social media, unexpected, boom. It could also look like a friend group, something being revealed about them that kind of connects you to like that deepest, darkest part of yourself. The 8th house also has to do with trauma, right? So you might be triggered. Mars does rule the 8th house, so that is a plus, in the sense of like, it's comfortable here. It's not going to feel as heavy for you as it will for other people. But there could be power struggles, unexpected financial wins, or financial entanglements where you have to like deal with money and somebody else. So this could look like, you know, legal stuff. If you're already in it, this is not me predicting, this is me saying, if you're already in it, this could be something that could be shocking. Maybe they reach a decision tomorrow, right? drama in your friend groups, something where you're sharing resources with someone being interrupted. It's just unexpected things, but the things that would be revealed would be like secrets with a friend group, social media stuff, hopes and dreams and things that you've kind of kept to yourself, but it's going to trigger a desire to like, how can I explain it? It's like a sudden emotional breakthrough, but it's going to come through like the people in your life or being seen publicly. And it probably also will have to do with money. I'm being vague on purpose because it's like you can't really predict how it's going to show up, but the anger, the frustration, the drive, that's going to be in your 8th house, and that's a house that's a little dark, right? It might bring like obsession. It could bring a little bit of trauma dumping. It could bring a little bit of like passionate reactive energy, right? The shock though will come through your friend group, social media, or I'm trying to like generalize it, but y'all get the gist. I would say if you have questions, drop me a comment and I will go deeper. Let's do that. Now, Leo rising, which is me. By the way, I'm a Leo rising 27 degrees. This is happening at 27 degrees of Taurus and 27 degrees of Aquarius. So it's literally a direct opposition to me. So I'm not exempt. This transit is hitting me too. So Mars will be in the 7th house, which is the house of relationships. Excuse me. Uranus is going to be in the 10th house, which is the house of like career and what you're known for, right? So on the relationship side, maybe it's an unpredictable pattern with your partner if you're dating someone. Maybe it's conflict with someone you trust, like a business partner, a mentor, a boss, someone you're dating, right? Someone that's very close to you. Also, the 10th house has to do with career. So this could look like a conflict at work or a conflict with an authority figure. Maybe you're having a really hard time not reacting to an authority figure. Maybe something shocking happens because again, that shock will happen in the 10th house. Maybe your boss quits and it triggers something around your identity and your relationships. Because remember, it is an axis. Even though Aquarius is over here and Leo's over here, we're going to feel that push and pull between like my identity and relationships. And then on this side, we have Taurus in the 10th house and Scorpio in the 4th. There's this like perception, work, career, but also home and inner world. And they're like constantly opposing. So squares are tricky because they create friction. They create an uncomfortable feeling. And when you have two planets, one that is like rebellious and unpredictable, and one that it's like explosive and like action driven, something shocking will happen and some kind of reaction will come out of it. So Leo risings, don't quit your jobs. Don't cut people off. Don't blow up at someone just because you have these feelings and you're feeling pulled maybe between like love and career, or feeling pulled between like your identity and your relationship, or something around your career triggers a feeling at home of like lack or anger or whatever. Like I will say between today and tomorrow is a day to kind of lay low and not react, because when it's hitting your 7th house, it's hitting the relationships closest to you. And you almost don't want to let that anger and that reactivity kind of get in the way of your relationships. I'm not saying it's unavoidable, but it is a shock and it doesn't have to be bad. Now, on the positive spectrum, it could look like maybe someone you were dating comes back, or it could look like your partner is surprising you and it does something for you or for your career and your identity, and it shifts like your perception around it, right? I will say for me, I'm definitely going to feel it. So I'll do this. I promise I'll make a short updating you on how I felt it. But if you're a Leo rising, let me know in the comments if you're already feeling this. I can say on my end, in my career, like my day-to-day job, I'm already seeing it. In my business, I'm just a little bit more bold. Now I'm just like, yeah, let me go live and make a video. But y'all, people need this content, right? Anyways, Virgo rising. For you, Mars is going to be in the 6th house and Uranus is going to be in the 9th house. So the 6th house is the house of like your day-to-day routine, your work, like what you do every single day, your health also. And then your 9th house, we've talked about like travel, higher thinking, your belief system, spirituality, philosophy, even publishing. So Uranus in the 9th can bring, again, travel issues, because this is the house of travel. It could also bring shock in the way of maybe you get published. Maybe you wrote this book and you're waiting, and then Uranus comes in there and like boom, all of a sudden visibility. It could also be, again, because it's balancing the 6th and the 9th. Let's say that maybe you're doing the most at work. Mars sitting there in the 6th house, right? And you're like burning yourself out, overthinking, overworking, overdoing. And there's like this push and pull between like your beliefs and calming yourself down and like not being in your head all the time. And then the overdoing, maybe life slows you down through shock, right? Maybe that addiction to productivity is broken. Maybe your beliefs around work change. Maybe there's something in your routine that changes because of a breakthrough that you have in your 9th house. What else could happen here? I think spiritually, you might have a spiritual, I call it spiritual awakening, but really it's just like an aha moment, a breakthrough. You start to see something different, your belief system changes, and all of that can affect your routine, your day-to-day life, or your work, right? But again, you will take action in that area. So this feels mostly like a positive transit. One big thing for you is there might be something around health. So pay attention to your health, because when Mars is transiting the house of health, it tends to bring a little bit of shock. Not shock, but like, to give you an example, I just had gallbladder surgery like maybe a month ago, and it literally was Mars transiting my 6th house. We're not putting that out there. I'm just saying maybe the shock or the overdoing leads to that. So it's just having an awareness that that's what it could look like. I was hoping I had water. Give me 1 second. Ugh. Clearly this is unplanned, and I'm not about to choke on camera, so please hold. Okay, just a reminder, I cannot see comments right now. I don't know where to go, so I will read them after, but definitely drop your questions and I can go way deeper. Okay, we're making progress, guys. So now for my Libra risings. So Libra rising, Mars will be hitting your 5th house. Uranus will be hitting your 8th. We've talked about the 8th house, sex, death, money, the taboo, money with other people, inheritances, taxes, that type of stuff. The 5th house, though, is the house of like dating, sexuality, children, your inner child, creativity, right? So Mars in the 5th is great because it gets you to take action around like creative projects you've been putting off. Maybe you're feeling bolder and you're out there dating and having fun, you know? Taurus is very slow moving. Mars puts a little bit of pep in your step, right? Uranus in the 8th, though, brings unexpected shifts in your intimate places, like money with your partner, or a random shocking inheritance, or something happens where like money comes into you that way, or money goes out where it's like, man, I owe $10,000 to the IRS and I was not expecting that. And then that affects your creativity, that affects your sexuality, your dating life. Could also be with your children. Best way that I could put it is, let's say you meet someone. I don't know why this is coming up like this, but the 8th house also has to do with sex. So you could just have an intense attraction to someone new that you meet tomorrow, and it activates both of these houses, right? You could also have just a magic creative spark that kicks off because of someone that you met or an interaction that you had that like shocked you, right? It could also be taking a financial risk, which I don't recommend with this transit, but if you do, just sleep on it. Maybe don't move right away. 8th house does bring possessiveness, jealousy, a little edge. So I tend to say when there's a transit in the 8th house, it's not that it's unbearable, it's that you just want to think before you do. And Mars is very much a let me just go for it. Specifically when it comes to, hell, you might find out you're pregnant. Honestly, that's another thing that just came up. But intense pleasure is great, but also you want to think about things before you do them. And both of these houses to me are giving dating, sexuality, meeting someone exciting, something at home with the children. But really the shock will be either financial, meeting someone new, or it could even be like a breakthrough around your healing or your trauma or something that was repressed, right? But whatever that is, opens up your creativity, opens up your dating life, connects you to your inner child. So it could also look like healing, which would be really beautiful. Again, happy to go deeper. Leave the comments for me. Scorpio rising. Scorpio, you're used to intensity. This is not new for you. But Mars will be in your 4th house and Uranus will be in your 7th house. So we discussed the 7th house is the house of close partnerships, relationships. Alexa.
This is a reminder.
Alexa,
Jordan.
stop. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Okay, Uranus in the seventh. So the seventh house is the house of partnerships, is the house of relationships, the people you usually marry or date, best friends, also enemies, like enemies that you're aware of. So it's a house that is very relational. So Uranus being here automatically tells me this is about people. This is about a relationship. This is about some kind of shock with someone close to you. Maybe you meet someone new. Maybe a new mentor enters your life. Maybe someone you meet shocks you awake, right? It could also be something happening with your partner, like a shocking revelation. They bring some news home and that changes everything. Now, Mars in the fourth is your home. So Mars is the planet of action, but in the fourth house, it's anger, because the fourth house has to do with like your inner world, your subconscious, your home life. This is like your roots. This is essentially where you come to recharge. This is your four walls where you can be yourself. So something that happens in relationship at home, something shocking in relationship affects your home. On the positive side, it could be you decide to move. On the positive side, it could be, oh my goodness, he proposed, we're getting married, your housing situation is going to change. It could also be, again, I think I don't want to loom on the negative, but it's giving shocking news that affects your household. So it could be a big fight with your partner. It could be something that happened at work and they brought it home and now it changes your perception or it changes the dynamic. It could be a breakthrough in your relationship and like how things have been and how they can't continue that way. Um, Maybe shock and it creates fear at home. It doesn't have to be a bad transit, but Mars in this house for me gives repressed anger. And when you have it interacting with the house of relationships, it's like whatever happens, whatever you're suppressing, whatever you're holding down, whatever you've been pushing down is definitely going to come up. So I would say for my Scorpio risings, let's keep the intensity low, mainly because you are ruled by Mars and your instinct is just, suppress, suppress, suppress. The next 48 hours, suppression is not an option. But if you can, definitely don't pop off at your partner. Give it time, let it land. And then in a few days, you can decide, because also Mercury retrograde is going to make a lot of misunderstandings when it comes to relationships happen. And maybe it's just not the time to like come from anger. You want to come from love. Sagittarius rising, Mars will be in the third, which is your house of communication, and Uranus will be in the sixth, which is your routine, your day-to-day, your work. We discussed it. The third house, though, it's more your siblings, your neighbors, short trips, your way of thinking, and also communication. So Mars here is actually, again, a really good planet. Maybe you're gonna say the thing. However, if you're being triggered in your sixth house, maybe work gets really stressful. Mercury retrograde, maybe tech is not on your side. Maybe you had a really rough day at work, or you're just like aggravated, or like there's just tension or something that disrupted your work, right? And then that looks like you popping off at the mouth. We don't necessarily want that, right? It could also be your anxiety spiking. Now, siblings also live here. Maybe there's underlying anger, underlying tension, and like an argument with a sibling or with a neighbor, right? So it's just being mindful. Mars being here is going to make you want to be angry and say what you feel. And like, I'm setting a boundary. Maybe that's not the greatest time to pop off and do the thing, because it's going to come from a place of anger. And also your day-to-day, it's just a tough day, not a bad life. That's the best way I could put it. On the positive side, maybe you'll speak a truth that you've been holding back for a long time. Maybe you will find your voice that's been suppressed for a while. So if you find that it's like an empowering thought or something beautiful that you're like, man, I've wanted to say this for a long time, definitely trust it. Now, Capricorn rising, Mars is in the second house, Uranus is in the fifth. So fifth house is giving pleasure, right? We're talking about dating, children, inner child, creativity. So what I love, right? And then Mars in the second house has to do with like your values, your self-worth, your money, what you own, tangible assets, right? So this could look like money versus pleasure, maybe overspending in the things that you love and realizing that, impulsivity in your spending, because Mars is like, let's take action. And then Uranus is like the sudden urge to do the thing around your creativity, dating, or whatever, like booking a crazy trip and being like, oh my God, I just spent $10,000. I just want to take them away. maybe sleep on it. Just because you like them and you're dating doesn't mean you're in a financial position to do that, right? It could also be like taking a risk creatively. Now, on the negative side, it could be, I wouldn't even say negative, but like shocking pregnancy. Maybe you were not expecting it and it's like, boop, Uranus is visiting the fifth house, you're pregnant. So if you're thinking about it, maybe take a test, right? Financial tension over dating. Maybe you're like, man, I've been dating and spending, and you're looking at your books. It could also look like conversations around money. It could also look around, again, dating and money, they're connected. Children and money, they're connected. Creativity and money, all of those things equal dollars. But it's also self-worth. It's also your values. It's also what you own. So be mindful not to overspend. Be mindful that whatever is triggered, again, it could be for good. It might just be a creative block that gets lifted and you're like, man, I'm ready to invest and go all in. But be mindful. Tension when it comes to money and when it comes to dating and children, this is probably what you're going to see the most of tomorrow. Aquarius rising, this is my mother, and this is the conversation that we were just having. So in Aquarius rising, your first house is Aquarius. This is your identity, who you are, how you're perceived, right? And then you have Taurus, which would be the fourth house, which is your home. It's like your family, your four walls, where you live, where you get to be yourself. So Uranus in the fourth house brings shocking news at home. It brings shocking news from like family. It brings unexpected tension. Like there's almost like this anger that is in there that it's suppressed, and Uranus just like shocks it out, right? Now, Mars in the first house means you're very reactive. Who you are with Mars there makes you really reactive. Now, Aquarius, do y'all hear the sirens? Aquarius is known for being the rebel. Aquarius does not like to be told what to do. They do not like to be caged. They do not like to be controlled. And when you have Mars there, it almost feels like, don't tell me what to do. I'm a rebel and I'm going to do it my way. But then you're triggered at home. Something shocking happened. There was a situation, something that you saw, something that someone brought home with their children or your partner, or an argument or a conversation. Maybe your living situation changed. This is the kind of energy that makes you rebel and blow up. And Taurus is very fixed, right? So Taurus likes comfort. Taurus likes stability. Taurus likes things to stay the same. And when home or any part of that is triggered, then it puts your anger at the forefront. So it could be positive in the sense of like having a breakthrough around your home. Maybe this is the moment you're like, I'm ready. I'm done. I'm ready to move. Or someone, one of your children comes home and you're having a tough conversation, and then that shifts something in your identity where you're like, where you soften. But I'll be honest, Mars in the first house in Aquarius is giving reactivity, is giving blowing up, and is giving rebelling. Maybe take a beat. I'm telling you, for the next 2 days, specifically tomorrow, people are going to be so triggered. Now, anybody that has any planets in a fixed sign, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio, within like 24 to like 29 degrees, you're going to feel this. Is peaking at 27. You're probably already feeling it now. This is what led me here. But, just be mindful. And lastly, Pisces rising. So last but not least, but Pisces, for you, my love, Mars will be in the 12th house, which is your subconscious world. It has to do with your, again, spirituality, subconscious mind. It kind of goes past like hospital, mental health, death, but I never go that deep because I know people tend to take it too far. But again, Mars here brings up a lot. Uranus in the 3rd house, this is the house of like communication, is the house of writing, is the house of the way that you think, has to do with siblings and neighbors. So the trigger will be something unexpected with siblings in your neighborhood, something that's said that triggers a feeling, something that you read that shocks you and that brings something up. So subconscious world versus communication. Mind you, Mercury in retrograde, which rules this house, miscommunication. It's going to be conversations that are misunderstood, that people didn't hear correctly, something that you said, whatever it is going to bring suppressed anger. 12th house is very much subconscious, what we don't say, what we suppress, what we hold back. So there might be a lot that comes up for you, like anxiety or reactivity. Again, it also rules mental health. That's why I'm bringing it up, because it might bring up a lot of like phobia or anxiety or overthinking or like getting stuck in the mental. I will say tomorrow is a good day for you to like give yourself a timeout, take a bath, do not react, especially to siblings and neighbors. Short travels too might get interrupted. Things might not go according to plan. Uranus is known for like shock, and sometimes it's really good positive things, and sometimes it's you just can't predict it, right? Another thing that happens here is communication and thinking. So it could also be a breakthrough. It could also be a new way of thinking, something that you hear that unlocks something for you. Sleep might be affected because Mars in the 12th house gives unrest and uneasy, and this is the house of like your subconscious and your nervous system. So take it easy, cut off draining conversations, cut off anything that triggers you. 48 hours time out social media and people. I'll be honest with you guys, now that I've gone through all 12, tomorrow, starting today really, is a day that you don't really want to be around too many people. It's giving reactive energy, it's giving suppressed anger, and it's giving shock and unexpected. In a beautiful world where everything is perfect, this would be money and babies and luck and abundance. But that's not the case for everybody. So tomorrow is one of those days people are going to be having hard days. You're going to see people quitting their jobs, people giving crazy news, people being impulsive, leaving relationships, having big conversations. So preemptively think of yourself and be like, okay, what house is it affecting me at? What could this potentially look like? If you're already seeing signs of this, pull yourself back and check in. Like for me, I know relationships and career as a Leo rising, but I also know whatever happens in my relationships, it's affecting my identity, right? I also know whatever happens in my career is affecting my home. So I'm intending to lay low. I'm not going to hang out with everybody. I'm kind of cutting off a little bit of social media. Like I'm only going outside today because I promised my friend we'll go to dinner, but I'm literally driving there and back. This could also look like technical glitches. Again, Mercury goes retrograde, which adds to that. It could look like car accidents. So my thing with astrology is not to instill fear. I don't believe in that. I think it's about being informed, not afraid. If you know tomorrow's a day where people are more reactive, maybe don't respond. Maybe don't honk the horn. Maybe don't get into that argument. Maybe don't share your opinion. Any other day, it would be fine. Tomorrow, I just would not advise it. So again, leave me your questions, leave me your comments. I'll be doing probably more shorts, and I hate that I can't see the comments on the screen if there are any. If you have hung out with me this far, I love you. I'm going to be doing a lot more lives and a lot more content around astrology. So if you like this kind of video, give me a thumbs up, comment below. Also, if you're somebody that wants to know astrology, what are you saying? How do you know? Like, how can you talk about this transit, babe? I'm actually doing a course for beginners. We started last Sunday and we were talking about the foundations of astrology. So if you buy the course, you also get all of the recordings, but it's going to be 6 weeks and we're going through everything. The basics, the signs, the houses, the transits, the aspects, how to read it. So if you're interested, I'm going to see if I can link it in the bio. But either way, I hope this helped you. I hope this gave you some clarity, some perspective, an idea of where to start and what to expect. And guys, it's just a transit. It's not that deep. We're going to be okay. Be informed, not afraid. Okay, I love y'all. Bye.